Can do it too. Easy as 1, 2, 3. You can do it too. Come along and draw with me. Pads and pencils, a very good start. So when you draw with your heart. You draw with your heart, 'cause you can do it too. You can do it too. You can do it too.
Hi, my name is Lydia Forte-Santiago, and I'm a portrait painter. And here I am with a beautiful picture of my dear friend, Vinny Ruggieri, the famous jazz piano player. Everybody knows Vinny, and he touched everybody's heart, including me and my husband Bart, which he gave piano lesson, and he has done tremendous with his piano playing. So last segment I did the preliminary sketch of Vinny Ruggieri with a light charcoal, and I explained it to you. This second segment, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to work with the darker charcoal. Now the darker charcoal is just to bring it out. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at Vinny's picture. We're going to look at the preliminary painting that I'm going to start, that is going to go into oil on canvas. But I'm just going to look at it, and we observe it, and we look at where are the darks. So I'm going to try to make it simple. And remember, I could do it, so can you. You could do it too. So this is what we're going to do. I see behind his ear, it's his hair, and it's dark. So we're going to press down. And you know, when I'm close like this, you can't see. You could see that I'm drawing, but you can't see the movement of the stroke. But it's just repeatedly on top of the same area. So I'm just going to darken this a bit, like that. And then when I look at the picture again, and I'm going to look, I see that right here is also dark. So I'm going to darken that. Now remember, I'm just punching in darks. I'm punching in darks. Right around here, there's a little bit gray in his hair, in Vinny's hair. It's a little bit gray, so I'm just gonna, the color, the stroke has to be a little lighter there. Yeah, like that. And then I look again, and I see that right here is goatee. It's darker right here, so I'm gonna press in and darken that. And dark. This part is light, is grayish. And the light is also hitting it, but it's a light gray, and the darkness is coming from his chin, so I'm gonna leave that light. Then I'm going to go and look again at my picture. I look at the picture, and I look at my canvas, and I compare. I'm comparing, and I go back to my picture, and I see right in here his eyebrow is dark. So I'm just going to darken Vinny's eyebrow right there, like that, right there. And then I look again, and I see a buildup of color right around his forehead. So I'm going to just now I have to change the stroke of my hand and how intense I'm pressing on it, only because the value of color is changing. So if the value of color is changing, the pressure cannot be the same. So I have to just lighten this up a bit. Now if you look at me and see what I'm doing, I'm just building up his forehead, it's almost like a little round there. Now you could look at my canvas over there to see, because it's a lot bigger than the photo, although I look at the photo too, but to compare. Then I take my gum eraser, and remember what I told you about pulling it apart just to make it a little sharp, and then I just lighten it, and it just press that like that, just to make it a little lighter there, like that. So it comes out. And then I could take my finger and I could kind of press it like this. Like that, you know. And you have to keep going back and forth and backing up and looking at it, you know, just to make sure that your dimension is right. And right here, I'm looking at that picture, and there's a little darkness here. See, once you start building these darks, you start making the portrait of Vinnie Ruggieri into like a three-dimensional effect, you know. And then I highlight it like that, you know. And that also makes it look intense. And then where the eye is, there's sclera's a little light there, and you can see it. So, and then I'm going to just press a little bit on this just to bring the eye more. Just to bring the eye. And then I look again. You see, it's look at the picture. You know, I already did the canvas. I'm also looking at the canvas for reference, so I'm using this for reference. So, you know, so I look at the picture, and I look at the canvas, and I study it. You study it for a while. And then, like where his nose is underneath, you can darken that a little bit so that could show up like that. See, now that shows up. Then you back up, you look again, and you see where his lip is, that there's a little darkness right in here and there, and his mustache right underneath his nose, right here, there's a little bit of darkness here, just to make there a little bit darkness there like that. And then right under here, which is his lip, you can make it a little dark, just a touch. And then the goatee is just a little grayish in color, so you make that like that. Now you look at it, back up. Now I look at my picture again. It's observe, it's look, it's draw. Look, observe, come back, look again, come back, and draw. So now we're looking at the shirt. So I bring Vinny's shirt down, his collar, and now I could press this. And now I'm gonna and then that's pretty sharp. Excuse me. Then I bring it down. This is his shirt. Again, observe. Again, look. And bring it down like that. So now you can see his shirt. Then right here, there's a shadow, because his arm is throwing a cast to the part of his suit here. So this is dark. By doing this and bringing these darks in, you're actually bringing out the drawing. And another thing too, whenever you do a drawing or a painting, don't rush it. It's better to have quality when it comes to art. You're really concerned with the quality of the work. That's really important. Now over here, the collar, there's a little degradation of color because of course the suit is gray. So right here, there's a dark, and we could see it here on the canvas. So we're going to put it in. If you're patient and you have a passion for this, trust me and believe in me, you will be doing this too. If you have the passion and the desire to do this, you will do it. And if you like portraiture, you will be doing this. Because you could do it too. There's a lot of folds here in his jacket, so you sort of have to bring them out too. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's all these folds in his jacket. There's this coming, this is a little dark here. This is a little dark. And there's shadowing here in between their folds. There's shadowing there, and this is, and then over here there's a little darkness, so we have to put it in. That's from the suit. This is from the arm, throwing a shadow here. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And then right in here where the arm is, just darkness here too. You can see it on the photo and you can see it on the canvas. On the canvas of that drawing, I did use a bit of vine charcoal, which I've used before, and I showed you how to use it. But the reason I'm not using the vine over here is the vine charcoal here is because this is not canvas. This is just a newsprint, and in some cases you can use it and it's okay, but in this particular picture I don't want to use it. I want to stick to this. And remember the degradation of colors. If the colors, if your color is changing underneath, the arm is dark, well then you have to throw that darkness in. And then right here is where the piano keys are. So that's pretty light there. And then his fingers are throwing off a shadow right in here, so his fingers are showing in there, so you see like a shadow from his fingers, from the piano keys. They're hitting there, like that, there. And then here. And then you could kind of rub out with the finger if you like. There, like that. Yeah. Yeah. And then right in here where the ear is, there is a little darkness here too, because it brings out the lobe of the ear, and it brings out this part of the ear, so you have to show that too. You have to show all these little details like that. And underneath is the lobe of his ear too. You got to bring that out. And the top here. And right here, as we look at it, there's just a little light, so I'm going to just tap it with this there, so you could see it, you know. So, and right here, there's a little bit of darkness because it's really like the jawline. So I'm going to just bring that out too. And the back of his neck has a different shade, different color, but it's darker because it's the back, so it's there. You can look at it in the picture too, you know. So that's it. So this is, and then you just bring a little bit light here, there. I think that wasn't supposed to be there. Make that there, like that, yeah. And then then the back of his suit could be a little lighter, so I'm looking at that, how light it is. See? That's why it's so important to look back and forth and compare, because as you do that, you refine your own skill. You can see where you're heading in continuing the portrait of Vinny. There. These folds are a little bit more intense, so I'll just press in a little bit more, like that. The more you press in, the darker it gets. And this, of course, is his jacket that's going down. So we're going to press this. This you hardly see, and this is kind of dark too. You hardly see this. It gets darker. There. That's it. And this is it. Then I could just, there. See, by doing this, you can kind of bring out those folds of the suit that you need to bring out. See, so now it's a little bit better. And his fingers, his if anybody ever met Vinny, you'd just fall in love with his music and how well he played. He was really awesome. He was amazing. He was really, truly amazing. See, so if you notice, I keep going back and forth and looking at the picture and coming back and looking at the canvas, because what I'm doing is I'm comparing the picture, I'm comparing the canvas, I'm comparing the illustration I'm doing. And about all this looking and comparing and observing, you really train your eye to be keen to what you're drawing or what you're painting. After a while, you start seeing things that are there and other people don't pick up on it, but you pick up on them because you're the one doing the painting or the drawing, and you know, oh, look, I missed that, you know, and you know for yourself, gee, I've missed something here, and then you can fix it. you start looking for things, you know, and you look at colors and you see colors like, you know, that you haven't noticed before. Even if you look at a cloud, you know how many colors there is in a cloud? They're not just blue. There's so many colors. And if you stop to observe and look at them, you'll say, oh my goodness, I hadn't noticed that color in there. But it's there. The eye becomes very keen and sharp, and all of a sudden, your actual work gets better. If you look at this picture, this is all very dark. So let's just kind of press that out a lot. Now remember what I told you. This is just a preliminary sketch just to get me going. So this is not my final work. This is just the reason being for this is just to loosen up. That's all. It's like tuning your piano or tuning your guitar. You just want to loosen up. You want to get a feel for it. It's not a final thing. This is a final thing. You know, this is final. Once it's all painted, that's final, you know. But not this. This is just preliminary. This is not this is just to get a little head start. This is what you call a head start. That's another way of putting it. It's a head start. And remember what I mentioned to you before in the past? If your drawing is correct and your dimensions are right, you could rest assured your painting will be correct. But somehow if you're off with the sketch, then you're going to have a lot of trouble with the painting. So it's really crucial that this drawing is down pat. That's why that's why you can't really rush this. I have to actually spray this, and I have to leave it overnight. I'm not going to just spray it and paint. I have to spray it. And what do I spray it with? I spray it with fixative because I don't want this to smear. And when I mix the paint up, it has to be, the consistency has to be just right so I can apply it and it'll come out very good. So I have to spray it with fixative, maybe once, maybe twice. I'll leave it outside to dry, to let the fresh air hit it. And then what I do is I take the canvas and I take it home, and then I let that dry overnight. So then I come back and I take my fingers and I rub it. If I see that there's chalk or charcoal on my fingers, that means it's not thoroughly dry. So I have to wait. So that's why it's so important. Like to spray it and just go like this and start painting right away, it's not a wise thing to do. Everything has to be done when you're painting. It has to be done with a lot of patience. If I could do it, you can do it. And then after it's thoroughly dry, then I come with my palette and my paints and my colors. Then I start to do the painting. But first, you have to actually get that dry. I know this is dark here, so we could kind of press on that, you know. It's really easy because you punch in the darks and then you worry about the lights later. And the fingers have some dimension too, so you have to kind of put the shadows in, you know. Always remember degradation in color values. Remember when we started out with the show with the apple and the pear, how I started with doing different degradations of color. The same thing you do with this. You have to do the same exact thing. You know, corners of the fingers come out. You know, you have to change. Because it's just to get started. That's all this is. This is just to get started with your work. Like that. See, now I'm actually drawing a little bit to get this, refine this little hand a little bit. Pinky here, the keys, you know, hitting the notes. And there's a little bit darkness in here, so we can build that up a little bit like that. We can kind of, you know. And right in here, right there, just to bring these fingers out. There, like that, yeah. It's just, here's a little error there, just put that there, because this other finger you can't really see because it's touching his piano keys. There, that's a little better, so you could press, and then there's a little lightness up here on top of his hand, but there's darkness right around here. So you got to put that in, and you got to put this in too. And always remember this saying, you could do it too. I'm no different than you. And you have to believe in yourself. And you have to like it and have a passion for it, and you too could do it. And it's fun and it's rewarding. I just put this finger here, just put it like that. There's a little bit right there. Yeah, because this finger goes down like that. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, this is part of the, like that. Yeah, so that looks a little better. And his hand goes like that, yeah. See, so if I'm loosening up with the sketch, then you know that when I come to the painting, I'll feel freer. Well, it's a little bit more emotional for me to do Vinny Ruggieri's painting, only because I was close to him and I was very fond of him. And Bart and I were very, very fond of him, and I enjoyed his music. And so it's a little difficult and more emotional sometimes when you do someone that you're close to and you really care about than just doing a portrait of somebody that you don't know. In the beginning, I had to pull away from it a little bit because it was upsetting. So then I just let it alone, and then I came back to it. And then when I came back to it, I was able to continue and put in my darks and my lights and continue with my drawing, you know. But it's really a passion. Art is a passion, just like music is a passion. And of course, if you have that passion for it, you could love it too, and you could get a lot of benefit out of it.
You can do it too. Come along and draw with me. Pads and pencils, a very good start. So when you draw with your heart. You draw with your heart, 'cause you can do it too.